Hey guys, hope everybody's having a great day. It's Sunday, so happy Sunday to you. I've been messing around, guess for the last maybe week or so. I'm starting to cut drawer parts for the kitchen cabinets you guys have been watching me make, and I promised to do a video explaining the jig that I'm using. And if you saw some of the earlier photos, I built a jig, which is kind of common for me. I like to create my own contraptions and my own methods to my madness. But I need to make a lot of drawers for the cabinets that I built, and I'm actually going to build cabinets for both projects. If you've been watching, you know I purchased two houses that I'm renovating, and while waiting on the city to release the building permits, I chose to build my cabinets and stay busy in that timeline. So anyway, I bought this jig. Show it to you. I bought this jig maybe 3 years ago for a different project, and again I ended up using my own jigs, which I have a router table I built, this thing right here, and it has an insert, this right here, and the router attaches to that, and then I have jigs that I kind of slide and locks into this groove right here, T-track, whatever you want to call it. And that's basically how I've done it. I also do them on my table saw. I mean, I got a few different ways that I can do this. Anyway, I'm in love with this thing. It's a cheap version of a Dovetail jig. It's a Harbor Freight product. And as I say, I bought it about 3 years ago. I played around with it then. I didn't like it. But this time around, I think I've kind of figured out some of the ways to best tweak it to make it work. It's a challenge getting all the parts to do what they're supposed to do, and then keeping them intact and stopping movement, because you get an awful lot of movement depending on your router. My router is a Bosch, and it's an extremely strong, it's a powerful router. God, excuse my speech today. So with that, the router creates a lot of vibration, and these little knobs here will move if you don't over tighten them. And with that said, you got to be very careful with how much you tighten them, and that you release these bars before you untighten anything. So I'm going to try to talk real quick about what I did and how I made this thing work. And if you can see, my tails and pins are absolutely perfect. I got some blowout, if you see that, like the chips. But other than that, they're seated exceptionally well. But that didn't happen with one try. That took a bit of doing. So one of the things that's going to be very important is understanding what router bit to use. I may actually have to do a second, maybe a third and a fourth video to kind of get it all in there. I'm already 4 minutes into this video, and I don't know that it's going to show all of it on Facebook or wherever I post it. Anyway, I use a 14-degree dovetail bit. It came in a kit. This is it here. And the distance from the top of the base to the top of your bit is around about 9/16. One of the things that I learned along the way, this right here is the rubbing collar, or the rib collar, whatever you want to call it. This is what rubs along the comb. This thing is called a comb. And this jig, this comb is 1/2 inch. See that? So there's a 1/2 inch between the teeth, and each of the teeth is a 1/2 inch. So everything you're working on here, if you're familiar with any scale type guidelines, you're working with a 1/2 inch scale, so to speak. And so this is the kit that I purchased with my router. Actually, I bought it after I owned the router, but these are rub collars. Each of these are different size collars, and each one has a different purpose. This one also comes with this little deal inside there. This thing here is an adapter. Well, actually, the adapter, see the big fat ring back here? See that thing back there? That's an adapter. This collar goes inside the adapter. So if you have a router that has this big opening, this right here, which is a part of the base, this opening, you're gonna need something to allow one of these to lock into your router. Now, you may also have a router that has a standard opening that fits a standard collar. So that's very possible. Anyway, the recommendation that Harbor Freight makes with the collar that they give you in the kit as well, or even with these kits, they're going to recommend that you use a 1/2 inch collar. Okay, this one is 1/2 inch wide or in diameter. Just to give you an idea what I'm talking about, this one here is probably about 3/8. This one's probably 1 inch. I don't know, I'm guessing at them. This one right here is 7/16. And if you're watching any of the other videos, a lot of the guys are telling you that this is the collar you want to use. And for me, it was not. Could be for you. You're going to have to test everything that you read or everything you've watched in a video to kind of get to where you need to be for your router, your bit, your jig, and what you're trying to accomplish. So one of the main things in relations to the router is that you're gonna have to measure from the collar, the insert that I just showed you, to the edge of your router base. That number is very important. The other number that's very important, because there's a chart, and I'm going to show you that in a second. There's a chart that you're going to need to connect the dots, so to speak, like the thickness of your material. That's important. The thickness of the material you're using in relations to the distance from the collar to the edge of the router base. Those two numbers are going to give you a number that let me flip them, that will show you where this bar goes. This thing right here, this has to be set at an exact distance from the front of this tooth, from here to this stop. I'm going to call it a stop. It's a bar, and this knob here and this knob here will loosen and allow you to adjust this back and forward. That's very important, and that's the last thing that I think you need to be sure you get correct, and the numbers that you're going to need. So you're going to measure from this collar, the edge of this collar, from the edge of the collar to the edge of the base of your router. This surface here to that surface right there. Okay? And like in my case, from this collar to the edge of my base, I think it's I have it written down. It's 2 and 7/8. The thickness of the material I'm using is 3/4. So that's, this stuff is 3/4 of an inch thick from the edge of the collar to the edge of the router base is 2 7/8. And if you look at this thing here, see that little square right there? So that's coming down this column, 3/4 down. Where did I go? Right there. And this row is 2 7/8. This chart is available online. If this helps you out, I can send you the name of there's another jig factory that makes this same exact jig. Their manual will give you this chart. Harbor Freight's manual doesn't have it. So I think at this point, that's the most important parts about the router in relations to the jig. The jig itself, wow, this video is getting longer than I thought it would be, so chances are I'm not going to be able to post this. I don't know, we'll try. So the most important thing about the router, about the jig itself is, all right, again, so we're dealing with 1/2 inch. There you can see the space in between is a 1/2 inch. You can also see that the teeth are 1/2 inch. So, I think I'm gonna do another video. This is kind of long, so I'm just gonna stop here and do another video.